Hello and welcome back for the level 16 edition of Purple is the Chosen One. Hope you're all having a good weekend. This episode is coming to you from the harbour, surrounded by two of my favourite things, these little strands of dreamy lights, which I like, particularly when it's night time and it just makes the place look so nice. And of course a fountain, this one being the Founders Commemorative Fountain. So, 16, some slight changes to the gear, upgraded the necklace. This was one that my main character Fools used to very good effect during levelling. Now he was a warlock, so he made use of the Topaz of Enchant down there at the bottom for mass hold. But we're not going to be using that. But the Topaz of Evocation is very nice, as are the stats on there. Charisma, Constitution, Insightful Charisma. So a really nice item that. Boosted us up to 52 on the Charisma. And our Sound Burst without Heighten is now on a 46. So that's quite nice. Did I change anything else on the gear front? I tried to add a golden guile, as one of you mentioned. That's useful for the diplomacy checks, but it seems that I don't have one. So I will have to remember in the Lords of Dust, when we do that this time around, to try and collect one, because it's a very regular drop from one of the boss chests in there. In fact, I think it might always drop, or certainly if not, then very often. So I will look out for that. Got a surprise for you this level. We gained access to level 8 spells for the first time, and we've actually got something that's useful for our build. The Firestorm. Look at that for a save, 52, and that's not even in Reaper. So that save's going to be in the mid-50s. So things are going to be taking some nasty damage from that. I'm going to try and exploit the ash from the tiefling tree, lead with that and then hit that. Well, I suppose I should do it anyway, because if things are vulnerable to fire, they're going to take more damage after being hit with the ash. And if they're not, then they will be after being hit by this. So all around it's a winner. We've still got the Holy Smite in there for things that need finishing off or problematic, so that's looking good. I have rejigged a little bit the enhancement trees, yes, again, because it's a class I'm not familiar with. I've been playing about a bit. Yet again, we've taken out the Comet Fall to accommodate this new arrival. I think we'll probably get more mileage out of Firestorm. And that's allowed me to, for one, I've taken the last core, because at 16 you can take the last core in the racial tree. 20 fire spell power, that's not to be sniffed at. So we're sitting now outside of Reaper. 350 on the fire, that's pretty good. And a 41 crit, so that Firestorm, I'm guessing, is going to make quite a mess. I'm hoping so. I seem to have finally found something to, because I've been umming and ahhing, haven't I, for the last 2 or 3 levels. What do I invest us in outside of Tiefling and Angel? And I've been messing about and not really found anything. I reckon this Fade Arc might be the one for us. We had a point in here anyway for the little cat for the Force and Universal Spell Power. Each core in this tree is Force and Universal Spell Power, so that's not terrible either. Plus there's some Charisma in there. Plus there's a Greater Colour Spray, which, as we have Heighten, I know we don't have any illusion bonuses, but we have plenty of Charisma, and we have Heighten as well. So that's Heightened for free, and it's now on a 44 will save, so that's not bad. Let me just check if Heighten does do something for that. Oh, that's interesting. I thought that was classed as a level 5 spell, but looking at that, if that save is correct, Heighten does nothing for that, and yet you're allowed to apply it. So I don't know. Anyway, it's not going to do us any harm because we're not being charged any extra spell points. There's some other nice stuff in here as well. Bonuses to saves isn't bad at all. So we've got some really decent, the will ones going up towards 50. In Reaper, I think the reflex will be at least into the 40s because we've got the reflex saves in the Grim Barricade tree. And then looking further forward, if we put enough points, there's more charisma in here. Charisma there. Possible charisma here. Force, spell power and crit. As well as a universal crit chance. So I reckon that's a pretty decent tree for us to be in. As a sort of a secondary or even tertiary, because we've got plenty of investment in the tiefling one, haven't we? In fact, this, for a character with very few racial points, well, only the one bought from the store, this isn't a bad build, I think, to invest in the racial tree, because aside from the main tree here, there doesn't seem to be anything too compelling. Yes, if we were going into tougher content in epic or legendary, then of course the where is it? The healing tree, the beacon of hope, would be very compelling. But as it stands at the moment, especially wearing these boots that I keep talking about, these DR15 boots, we're not having to do too much healing, just the odd cure serious outside of battle, and if I get into trouble, sometimes a heal in the middle of it, but nothing, you know, and we're managing quite nicely without any of the boosted up heals that would come in this tree. What else do I have to tell? We've been doing questing in Giant Hold. That went very well, with one notable exception. At the end of the Madstone Crater, the Skeletal Warlock, I got there through my own fault, not having rested at a shrine with not too many spell points left. And I think what was happening, either he was completely immune to my light and scorch damage, and the good damage as well, the Holy Smite didn't seem to work either. Or he had does that allow a reflex save? I don't think that does it? But there are some that allow reflex saves. I thought maybe he was making those, but I don't think so. The only things in the end that got him were Comet Fall and maybe the non-fire element to the Flame Strike, which did beat him quite easily. But when you've got no spell points and you can't cast either, and he was hurting me, I had to retreat a long way from that peak back to a shrine, because I was damned if I was failing the quest for that. But in the end, it took me a long time, but I came back from the shrine, and once I had the spell points, I did beat him quite handily. I don't know if it's one of those where the spell level is immune to spells below a certain level or what, but yeah, that nearly put a severe spanner in the works. Thankfully, we managed to get through with just a bit of a time delay. I know you're sick to the back teeth of hearing from me about hirelings and how much I dislike using them and blah blah. I've just got a last one, because this was a proper facepalm moment of why I dislike them so much. I mean, I only pull them out now for, you know, pulling levers and things. So this particular one was out in Giant Hold there are several quests where you can't really solo. You need a hireling for the levers. So like in the Prison of Plains, isn't it, where there are those quest rooms to one side. The hireling needs to pull the lever while you're in the room doing the objective. And then Maze of Madness, there are several instances there where the hireling needs to pull a lever to open a door for you to progress. So I did everything I possibly could to set this one up properly. There were two levers, one of which I knew was trapped with spikes, so I tested it myself so I knew which one was the correct one. Then brought the hireling in, set it to not to move, and not to, there's a setting, isn't there, for don't respond to anything, or just sit there and do as told, or something like that. So I said put that on as well, targeted the lever, pressed the, whatever this is, auto target disabled, so that lever stayed as the target. Went and stood in front of my door, pressed interact on the hireling, and guess what happened? The thing pulled the wrong lever, the spikes came up and it died. I just thought, well, shit, what more can you do? I've had it the same in the, is it Black and Blue in the marketplace with the electric floor. I've done exactly the same routine. Please stop here, don't do anything. If anything comes by, don't react, don't do anything. Just focus on this lever, only this lever, press execute, and sure enough it just dives straight into the water and kills itself. I just, yeah, words fail me. Thankfully I remembered, for want of a better spell, I had selected a raised dead, so I was able to pick it up and try again, but I was fuming. So that's that. Right, this time around I thought we could try, this is a staple quest for anybody who's running around at the cap on Legendary. I think people tend to go in here daily. It's one I think people just use to push the limits, because it's one of the softer Legendary ones, and sort of see how far they can go. Fools has been in here on Reaper 8. Now it's very dependent. As soon as you introduce the Doom Reaper to the equation, which is Reaper 7 and above, if you didn't know, if you start getting those, then especially on a character like mine, who is not spec'd for heavy single target damage, meaning ruin and greater ruin from the draconic epic tree, you're gonna run into trouble, and that's exactly what I did. I was sort of running around just desperately trying. I did really well actually up until the very end, and I think there were two dooms in the very final group before the Malm, the big boss, who is also a big problem because he can one-shot you with that lightning thing, not lightning, that light cast. So yeah, with those two dooms, that was I think you could have put the Benny Hill theme tune and me sort of running around in the background trying to stay alive. So why was I mentioning? Oh yeah, because it's kind of a benchmark test bed. So let's use it as that now. Now we're going to have a particular problem here, because most things in here I think are going to be immune unless we debuff them first to our fire damage. So we're going to be leaning quite heavily on the Holy Smite. I want to see how this Greater Colour Spray goes on. We might as well make use of it because it's a cheap option. We can quicken it for free. Spell point costs 4, look, and it causes helplessness. So it's not that much of a different thing from the sound burst. The only problem we've got with this is the range. It's close range. So we're going to have our wits about us using that. It's the first quest I've had where I have access to it, so knowing me, I'll forget I have it and there'll be all sorts of wrong keys pressed and that. I just want to see if it works, with what degree of success, and see if we can have some joy following up with some heavy AoE spells. I haven't quickened anything that's a non-spell-like ability because we were... Is that a mistake, in fact? No, I think these are fairly fast casts, aren't they, anyway, Firestorm and Holy Smite. I'm not going to quicken them. We're going to see how we go on without. Giving you that big speech. We're going to go. I mean, I have been in here before on different builds in the past, notably a ranged build, you know, single target, and got absolutely slaughtered in here. So it's one of these where you really appreciate AoE crowd control and AoE damage, otherwise you just get swarmed. I think a bard with a disco ball in here would or a mass hold indeed would do particularly nicely. Right, so we can see 47 on the greater colour spray, 49 on the sound burst, and the firestorm is a 55. But I just must remember to lead with the ash if I'm going to use the firestorm. I pressed the wrong key, my bad. Well, that was pretty good. Okay, a bit ponderous perhaps, but we'll take it. Oh god, the targeting issues, wrong key issues. Okay, that was nice. I keep pressing the wrong keys, unfortunately. It'll take a bit of time. So that colour spray is doing well. Yeah, that's much nicer. Mop up with Holy Smite. Yeah, I like that. Let's try that again. Except a couple of them didn't get held, did they? What's the matter with you, sir? Why won't you be held? He got blinded but not held. Okay. And he hammered us as well there. That's not very nice. Let's heal ourselves up. See, that was, I mean, obviously it's out of combat, but I think that was a critical cure serious, but it's more than adequate to top up out of combat with that. Let's see how we go on against this thing for the hold. That's nice. It's holding him very nicely. Oh, he's immune to the normal thing. Okay, not terrible. Not amazing, but not terrible. I don't think I can get in the secret door here with just the standard glasses I'm using, no. Now we need a bit of range here. Let's see if we can use... Oh, that was nice. Wow. Yeah.
This door bears an ancient inscription. A hum of powerful
Perhaps it's a sign that I shouldn't be ignoring the sound burst in favour of the colour spray. They're both working, aren't they? So it's a second crowd control option for us. Now, should I be going in there? We're going to get slaughtered by the trap, aren't we? What to do? I could break the boxes with my little trusty little dart, couldn't I? And just not... Or maybe we just... Can we jump through here? Oh, crud. Now we're out of combat though, so we're still having full heals. That's nice. Whoa, 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 whoa. We need to be ready for this, don't we?
As you enter the alleyway, you spot cultists.
I made a mess there. I pressed completely the wrong key, but it doesn't matter because they're vulnerable to fire anyway. Okay. Still alive? No, that was a bit of a mess. Can't we just get one nice strike? Nope, clearly not today. Let's try again down there. Go on, do it. No, not having it. Okay. Well, it's still pretty effective, even if it's not wiping things out. And spell point wise, we're doing fine, I think. They should really be quickened, some of these. They look ponderous not being quickened, and I could afford at least to quicken them looking at these.
As splinters of the shattered door drift down around you, the dire bear nods at the corridor ahead.
Go on, let's splash out, let's quicken everything.
It is protected by a large stone door.
No, not those little single target ones are quick enough, aren't they? But everything else, we're gonna have quickened, I think. Oh, I made a horrible mistake there. I didn't catch them with the scorch, so the back ones were obviously immune to my follow-up spell. Not that time. It's still looking a bit ponderous. I need some more time to practice around these keys and get used to the setup. Oh God, fancy wasting a firestorm on two that are nearly dead. This is, well, on the plus side, this has been as inept as it possibly could be, and we've still strolled through, so that's a good sign, I think. Do it properly now. Go on. Yes, now that's what I'm talking about. The scorch and then the firestorm and boom. Let's try that again. There's always one. I think he was outside of the effect, wasn't he? But yeah, that's got potential moving forward, I think. Now this guy, all I have to do is avoid that nasty light thing that he sends down. Just keep moving, keep healing. Where is he? Oh, 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 oh. Yes. Apparently there's a safe spot that you can get to in here. I think maybe if you have wings, but I've never really found where that was. Are we going to keep that for a possible artificer thing? Oh, we're going to keep it anyway because it's got a Reaper thing on it. Okay. I think we can be cautiously optimistic about how that went. I think I had too many different keys I was trying to go between there, so too often I made a mess and pressed the wrong ones, but the both holds are totally valid, working very well. Both cause helplessness, so that's great for any follow-up things we do. The ash is working very well to debuff fire immune things, and the following up with firestorm, if I can press the right key, is very devastating. Either hold followed by holy smite, very good too. So I think we're in a decent place going forward. I definitely do. I think that might be the sort of template to carry with us on into the epics. I'm just thinking, are there any other heavy hitting spells that we get? I think there's one, isn't there, at level 9? Is it Divine Wrath, is it called, or something? That sort of boom 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 spell that just causes difficulty for anybody around you to see what the hell's going on. I remember the bear particularly enjoyed that one, because she tends to like anything that really grabs attention, like the Call Lightning and Call Lightning Storm kinds of things. Right, I think that's about it for this one. I'm not particularly happy with the key pressing and the execution in there, but the end result and the potential is certainly there, so I'm really pleased for that. Thanks very much as always for looking, and I will speak to you in the next one. Take care.